Guitar Hero is a franchise that has long been gone. With the most recent game releasing in 2015, it is highly unlikely the series sees another installment unless it is in the form of a reboot or a remaster. The franchise was killed off due to a reason many others are cancelled for: oversaturation. Guitar Hero has around 30 games in total, and most of those came from the year 2009, with over 9 games releasing in the span of 12 months. Several of these games did not perform well both critically and financially, and by the year 2010, many Guitar Hero fans were losing interest. The series had become hard to keep up with the barrage of games hitting the market. By the time Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock had released, many gamers who had previously expressed interest in the series just didn't care anymore. Activision was getting desperate when they clearly noticed this, and so in 2015, their final Hail Mary was the release of Guitar Hero Live, a live-action rendition of the game that had a completely revamped UI, controller, and fretboard. The game was a massive flop, mainly critically. By now, Guitar Hero was dead, and Activision was holding the gun. Despite the corporate greed that consumed Guitar Hero, it still remains a beloved franchise to this day, with an ever-growing community that still plays many of the popular games in the series, such as Guitar Hero 3 and a PC clone aptly titled Clone Hero, which is one of my personal favorite games as of recently. The community only continues to grow larger, with Clone Hero receiving bigger updates and Fortnite Festival releasing. And since I've gotten back into the game, now it feels like the perfect time for me to put every single mainline entry, well, excluding the Rock Band games since I've never played them, on a tier list. Before I get into that, though, fair warning, things might get a bit controversial and some of you are absolutely going to disagree with my rankings. With that said, let's pull up the tier list. Okay, so here we are at the tier list. So we got S, which is obviously means something's the best. A is still really great, but not the best of the best. B is just good. C is starting to get into the meh territory. D is just not that great. E is pretty bad, and then F is just bad, bad, like very bad. Alright, so ton of games here. Like I said, I haven't played any of the rock bands or whatever these games are, like Rocksmith, Rock Revolution. I haven't played any of those. I also have not played the DS games. Actually, wait, no, I played one of them. I'll rank that one. And I don't think I've played DJ Hero, so yeah, let's just get into it. Alright, I'm kind of going to go chronologically here, so let's just start with the very first one, Guitar Hero 1. So where is that? Alright, here it is. So Guitar Hero 1 was obviously the game that, like, kickstarted the entire series, and eventually... Oh, dude, there's a ton of ads here, my goodness. Guitar Hero eventually became like a really big series, obviously. And Guitar Hero 1 for the PlayStation 2 only is what kickstarted it all. Now, I never played Guitar Hero on original hardware. Like, I never played it on the PS2 with like a PS2 guitar. However, I have played it on an emulator called PCSX2, I think it's called. And one issue with this game is that in modern day, unless you use that emulator, it's practically unplayable. Even on the emulator, it's still bad. First of all, there's zero calibration, meaning like it's just very difficult to play. And second, the hammer-ons and pull-offs are some of the most broken things I've ever seen in any game ever. I swear by everything, they do not work. On God, they don't work at all. So, besides that, the set list is, pretty good. It's got songs like, Unsung by Helmet, Take Me Out, Coach Ice by Audioslave. Pretty good set list all around, so... But it's still not great, but it did kickstart it all. But just because of those reasons, and the system being so janky, the graphics not being that great, I'm going to go ahead and put it in C tier. Okay, Guitar Hero 2 is next. Guitar Hero 2 is basically Guitar Hero 1 if it was actually good. I don't really need to elaborate much. I think it's one of the most beloved games in the series. It got a lot of people into the game. It was the first Guitar Hero that became like super popular. It was the first one to come out on the Xbox 360. Just an all-around really solid game. This might be a bit controversial. I'm not going to put it in A or S, just because it's just not my personal favorite. The set list is good, but some of the covers are like really weird. Like the Avenged Sevenfold one's not that good. But the system's great. Hammer-ons and pull-offs are better, but still not great. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. Okay, so now we're on the one most of you probably clicked on this video for. That's Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. Um, Before I put this here, I'm gonna do F. I'm kidding. Definitely not F. It's S tier. Absolute one of the best games, if not the best game in the series. That's not even debatable. There's another game that comes close to that. I'll show you what it is soon, probably later in the video. But Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock is one of the best rhythm games I've ever played, probably the best. It kickstarted or not kickstarted, but it put the franchise on the market. Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock is what made the franchise good. It's what made people want to play it. People were going and picking out plastic guitars and playing this game. You know, the career mode is amazing. Like the set list is probably the best in the entire franchise. It's got, like Stricken, Helicopter by Block Party, One, just all around just really great songs, fantastic game. It's got some classic songs in there too, like Paint It Black, just absolutely incredible game, phenomenal game. Top of S tier for me. This probably is the best. There's one in here I said I'd put close to it. You probably already know what it is, but still, this is the best for me. Top tier set list, top tier gameplay. The engine's great, so nostalgic. I played it on the Wii when I was a child. Just really fantastic game. I don't think it can be beat. Quick side note, I'm pretty sure it was also the best-selling video game of all time in 2007 when it came out. I'm pretty sure it was the only video game to reach $1 billion at that time, so that's another cool side note. If that doesn't prove to you how good this game is, I don't know what does. Oh, also, another thing to mention, the guitar battles were incredible. You got, Slash, Tom Morello, and then the final battle was pretty hard. I remember that one giving me a lot of trouble, even on like medium difficulty. So, yeah, all around just really great game. People still play it to this day. Back before Clone Hero came out, people were using this game like all the time. Guitar Hero 3 was like the go-to. You could put custom songs in it. It's just a really great game. No complaints, literally none, except for the lead singer looking very wonky. But yeah, I just realized I missed Rockets the '80s. Um, yeah, D tier. It's literally just Guitar Hero 2 if it was bad, and the whole thing just feels like a cash cow, cash grab. It just feels soulless. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a fully fledged game. It should have been a DLC. This was the first sign of the franchise becoming overbloated, and that's why I'm gonna have to put it in the D tier. Okay, now where's the next game in the series? Where is it? There we go. Guitar Hero World Tour. Okay, so besides Guitar Hero 3, this was another extremely well-selling game. One of the most beloved in the franchise. Absolutely phenomenal game in many's eyes. It was the one that introduced drums, vocals, bass. You could buy the drum set with it. GameStop used to sell those huge bundles. I'll put a picture up on the screen if you know what I'm talking about. Those big bundles with the drums, the microphone, and the guitar. It was just an incredible game. Activision, this was also the point I think Activision acquired it. I think they got it from Guitar Hero 3 though first. Activision really went all out with this game, and you can tell. Like the set list has got like it's the biggest set list by this point. Like over, I'm pretty sure there's over like 90 songs or something crazy like that. Absolutely crazy set list. Also, one of the only games and things in existence to get Tool licensing, which is just that's insane. But yeah, it came with the drums. Drums were really funny. So I have a pair until my uncle went a little too hard while playing "Trapped Under Ice" by Metallica. But that's just that was he was a bit crazy, but very incredible game. Introduced drums, vocals. Drums are still my second favorite game mode besides guitar, obviously. But drums, phenomenal game mode. I never really got into vocals that much. If I do vocals, I'll just use it with the guitar, so I can like. I don't like singing. I'm not a singer, definitely not. Um, but yeah, incredibly phenomenal game. It also introduced tap notes, which are my favorite like type of notes besides hammer-ons and pull-offs and obviously regular notes. The tap notes were kind of broken, and this was also the game that came with the Sunburst guitar, the orange one. The World Tour had a special guitar. It's the one I use for Clone Hero to this day, and it has the little slider. This is what it looks like. So it had the slider. I don't think anyone actually used the slider. If you did, let me know in the comments below. I don't think anyone actually used it though. But yeah, it was a very good game. Only complaint is tap notes, and it's just some of the songs aren't my favorite, but most of them are pretty good. So I'm gonna have to put that in A tier. Also, Guitar Hero World Tour literally had a KFC meal, and it was pretty cheap from what I remember. I think it was like $5. So that's just insane. A KFC Guitar Hero meals would go crazy. All right, these ads are kind of pissing me off, but anyway, what's next? What's next? All right, the band focused games. So where is Guitar Hero Aerosmith? I'm gonna put it above Guitar Hero 1. Guitar Hero Aerosmith was the first band-focused game. Activision really wanted to do something different, kind of like they did with Rock the '80s after Guitar Hero 2. Or was it before? I don't remember. I think it was after. Anyways, Aerosmith is basically just Guitar Hero 3 if it was about Aerosmith, and I think for being what it is, which is a Aerosmith-focused rhythm game, it's pretty good. The only problem is that this is an opinion of mine. It's not like a general problem with the game, but there is one of them I'll touch on later. But I'm just not the biggest fan of Aerosmith. I mean, I like their songs. Like, Dream On obviously is a classic. I love that song. All of the songs are great, but it just feels a little boring and a little bland. It feels like something's missing. Like a big chunk of what makes Guitar Hero special is just gone. I'm not sure what it is, but for being a band-focused Aerosmith game, I think it's very good. But this is being in C tier is not like an inherent problem with the game. I just find it to be not as enjoyable as the ones above it, which is why I'm gonna put it in C tier. But it's still better than Guitar Hero 1. So, hmm. Uh, Here. There'll be more games to fill up C tier, but I think Guitar Hero Aerosmith being so close to the first one right now is just kind of weird. But hopefully there's gonna be more games to fill up like the space between, so it's not because the quality leap between Guitar Hero 1 and Guitar Hero Aerosmith is obviously very large. So yeah, next let's move on to the next game. So according to the Guitar Hero wiki, I guess Guitar Hero on Tour was before Aerosmith, so we're gonna have to go ahead and rank that one. And since that is the only DS game I've played, I'm gonna have to put all the other ones in the not played tier, obviously. So decades, modern hits, but I have played on tour. It's not bad actually. I'd put it at the top of C tier, just above Aerosmith. I think actually no, it's just yeah. I'm gonna put it below Aerosmith actually. Guitar Hero on Tour was a very solid game. I played it once, I think, at a friend's house. It was decent, the Guitar Hero grip controller, that was pretty much the best they could do for a handheld console. It was basically just mobile Guitar Hero, except for the actual Guitar Hero mobile that sucked because I played it once, but it's not on this tier list. But anyway, very great game. Still not good enough to make it into B, A, or S. Definitely not A or S. But I think B tier is a little too generous and D tier is a little too mean. And I think Aerosmith is just better since it's an actual console game, while On Tour is it's still it's a DS game. There wasn't much they could do besides the little grip controller. I think just the four frets and hold the way you had to hold it, it was all very awkward. Strumming on the screen was not that great. Setlist was good though. You got Heaven, Helicopter, a ton of great songs in there, but it just didn't feel like a fully fledged game, just like a handheld port, and that's basically what it is. So for that, I'm just gonna have to give it C tier. I realized I accidentally put Band Hero and haven't played. No, I've played Band Hero. Band Hero DS goes and haven't played, and so do the DJ Hero games. Okay, so next chronologically would be Guitar Hero Arcade, but that's not exactly a game and it's not on here. But I have played it several times, many times, at my local arcade where I live. There is one still there, surprisingly. There's also one at my local movie theater, but I mainly play at the arcade. If it was on here, I'd probably also place it in C tier. It's basically just a port of Guitar Hero 3 PC, except the main problem is the controller. The controllers they give you at those arcade things are massive. They are super heavy. I just don't enjoy playing Guitar Hero Arcade whenever I go to the arcade because the controllers are just so uncomfortable and just so heavy. It's a mess, and the buttons are like glossed over, like very shiny, so your fingers slip off and they start getting sweaty. The strum bar is god awful. It's like super mushy. I don't like it, but using those guitars is basically the same thing as trying to play with like a metal pipe. It's just no. So if it was on here, I'd put it in C tier. But since it's basically Guitar Hero 3, it's got some excellent songs. So actually, maybe I'll put it in B tier. All right, so we got hypothetical Guitar Hero Arcade in B tier. What's next? What's next? Oh, awesome. Okay, Guitar Hero Metallica's next. Okay, so this one is another extremely beloved game. Oh, what is that ad? What the what? All right, I'm gonna pull out an ad blocker real quick because that was weird. Okay, that is much better. No booty bots on the side of the screen, whatever. Anyways, let's just where was I? Right. Where'd Metallica go? There's Metallica. Okay. So this is another one people usually tend to put S, A, or B. I've seen someone put in C, which was I disagree with that. Um. So yeah, S tier. This is your opinion on Guitar Hero Metallica mainly comes down to do you like Metallica? If you like Metallica, it's automatically S tier. If you don't, it's definitely B or C. But people who aren't fans of Metallica, I've seen them enjoy this game a lot. This game in Guitar Hero 3 and Metallica and World Tour, all three of these were the ones I grew up on. So I have very fond memories, especially of Metallica, because I played that one the most out of these three. I didn't get into Guitar Hero 3 until later, in World Tour I didn't play as much. But Metallica is probably my second favorite in the franchise besides 3. I'm going to put 3 slightly above it, or but Metallica is like my favorite band besides Block Party. Metallica's got, they got One, Master of Puppets, Fuel, like Whiplash, Hit the Lights, just incredible, phenomenal songs. Sad but True, the Unforgiven songs, all three of them, all Nightmare Long. Dude, I could list as many songs as I'd like. King Nothing's probably my favorite one. That's a bit of a hot take, but I love King Nothing. No Leaf Clover, I think is what it's called. Just so many great games or songs in this game. You got Enter Sandman, like an absolute classic. Guitar Hero Metallica is phenomenal, in my opinion. But like I said, if you're not a huge fan of Metallica, you're probably going to put it in B tier, maybe C. But I have seen people who aren't like huge fans put it in A before. In my opinion, Metallica is basically a world tour if it was just band focused. Well, Aerosmith is just 3 if it was band focused. But the problem, or the new thing with Metallica being a band focused game based on world tour, is that it still feels new. It still feels fresh. Like it has more heart and soul put into it than Aerosmith did, which says something because, like I said, Guitar Hero Aerosmith is still a great band focused game. But Metallica, you got the motion capture, like James Hetfield, Kirk, they all did their motion capture, and it looks incredible. You can tell they had a lot of fun. Like it's just such a joy to play. It's absolutely amazing. Such a great game. The career mode was like it was unlike anything actually. You were basically playing like as a Metallica cover band. You were going through like their whole history, just like some of the other ones. Just it was so cool, man. It was an incredible game. And since I love Metallica, this is definitely top tier for me. Tap notes were much better, but still broken as crap. I remember watching Acai or Acai trying to FC1 on Metallica. He was struggling a bit with those tap notes, and that's exactly how I felt playing this game. So tap notes are the only like downside, but it's still good enough to be S tier. But it's just you can tell that Metallica had a huge part in making the game, and that they put so much love into it, and it's just such a great game, absolute S tier. Okay, so we're getting to the point now where a ton of like cash grabby games are coming out. Like look how many games came out in 2009. 2008 was just mostly like toys. That's what some of these are, but 2009 was a bit overbloated, which is what I was explaining in the intro. So which one's next? Didn't do modern hits. Okay. Oh, smash hits. Okay, where's smash hits? Get over here. Okay, before I rank this, it's obviously not S, A, or B. Definitely does not make that. The problem with Smash Hits is that it's only ever so slightly overrated. I don't think it's F tier because I have seen many people put in F tier. The problem with Smash Hits, the problem with Smash Hits is just how much of a cash grab it really is. And if you have good morals and whatever, you're gonna agree with that. You're gonna say it's F tier. Good on you. You don't like corporate crap, and that's good. But the problem is that it's still a decent game, but it just feels soulless. Like especially a Smash Hits. Smash Hits is supposed to have like just classic songs from the first 3 games. It doesn't make sense to release a game like that only a few years after the franchise started. It feels like it came out the wrong time. If it came out in like 2012 maybe, it would have been more justified, but coming out only like a few years after the first game is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. Some of the charts are horrible. The Through the Fire and Flames one is especially not great. But it's still playable, it's definitely got good songs. I just don't like that they changed the charts. I don't like the idea of the game, but it's still a playable Guitar Hero game. It's not horrible, it's not broken or anything. It's basically just World Tour again. I'm gonna put it in E tier. Okay, next is an extremely divided game. That is Guitar Hero 5. I have never seen a more divided opinion on any game ever than with Guitar Hero 5. It's usually during these rankings, it's either in like D or E or S or A. There's no in between. But I'm gonna break that trend by putting it in C tier, top of C tier actually. The problem with Guitar Hero 5 is the set list. There's songs nobody's ever heard of on there, but it does got some highlights like Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium, still great songs, obviously. But then there's some like country songs, just all around very weird choices. Now, Guitar Hero 5 is one of the more recent ones I played. I never grew up on it. Maybe that's a reason why. It was a little later, like 2010, I think is when it came out, or 2009. I think it was 2009. Here, let me double check that. Yeah, 2009. So it was okay. It's just the set list is wonky. The gameplay is just World Tour, except a little more refined. Like it looks a lot cleaner than World Tour, and I can appreciate that. I think the engine is really good, but some parts of it just leave a bad taste in my mouth. Like it just, if it's very boring. There's not there's not much special in it. You know, like the whole thing with Kurt Cobain being like a playable character. Like the whole game just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's still better than Aerosmith because it has some of the best gameplay in the franchise just because of how refined and clean and crisp it is. But then again, the set list and career mode are pretty boring, so I'm gonna go ahead and. Oh, I did like full band mode though. I like how you can have like multiple basses, like you can play multiple drums, you can basically do whatever you want. So the reason that it's not my favorite is that it's more of a party game than anything. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at the top of C tier for now. It might change later depending on what other games I'm putting, but yeah, for now, C tier. Okay, next is DJ Hero. I never played it. Okay, and for the last band-focused game, and we're getting near the end, guys. We got Guitar Hero Van Halen. This one is, I think, middle of the road for me. I think I'm gonna put it in B tier. Yeah, just below Guitar Hero 2. I think Van Halen is a great game. To me, it feels and plays like Metallica, except with Van Halen. And this one is also dependent on how much you love Van Halen. But I've seen people who like Van Halen, they've put it in like C and D tier before. This is also the point where the franchise was dying off because there were so many games coming out. So this one is really like it all comes down to personal preference. Do you like Van Halen? And did you like a World Tour Metallica? Because if you did, if all those boxes are checked off, this is probably gonna be A tier for you. The problem is it doesn't feel as like cared for as Metallica, if that makes sense. There's not much more heart and soul put into it. Metallica, it really felt like a love letter from the band. This one just feels like you're playing a Van Halen rhythm game, similarly to Aerosmith, but setlist is incredible. I'm not like the biggest Van Halen fan, definitely not, but I do like their songs, like Jump, Panama, Eruption is very fun to play. Same with Spanish Fly. I love playing Spanish Fly on hard. I think it's really cool that they included Eddie Van Halen's solos, which is like the main reason it's not in C or D for me. But yeah, all around it's not the best, but it's still pretty good. Gameplay is nice. Tap notes are much better. The engine's a lot more modern, so it's a lot easier to actually hit notes. Hammer-ons and pull-offs feel good. Tap notes feel a little bit better than they did in World Tour Metallica. So yeah, B tier. I just realized I skipped Band Hero. I don't think I need much explanation. I do not like Band Hero at all. I think it is, without a doubt, one of, if not the worst in the entire franchise. Band Hero, in my opinion, is a disgrace. I did see a video where some guy put it in like S tier. I was like, there's no way. For me, Band Hero is F tier. If you like Band Hero, fine, whatever. But you're gonna have to have a lot. You probably should explain yourself in the comments. If you like Band Hero, tell me what it is about it that you like in the comments. If you like pop, I guess that's fair. But even then, if I liked pop, I'd put it in like C tier. It's just it feels more of a cash grab to me than smash hits. Like it doesn't make sense. You're dropping the title Guitar Hero for Band Hero, even though there's already been like 3 or 4 band focused games before this. Like World Tour, Smash Hits, Guitar Hero 5. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just the whole thing just gives it, I don't know. It's so bad. I don't like it at all. The songs aren't that great. There's like a couple Taylor Swift songs in there, which I definitely am not a fan of Taylor Swift. I don't like her songs, but compared to the rest of the set list, that's like the best you're gonna get. It's just I don't like it. If you liked pop and you liked, you know, really popular songs like that, you'd probably put it in C or B, but for me that's an F, just bottom of the barrel. It's not fun for me at all. Okay, if I recall correctly, we have 2 more games to go left and then we're done. So I'm just gonna do all these so I can get it have a little more space to, breathe. I haven't played any of these. Okay, so that leaves us. Wait, I feel like I've played Lego. I have played Lego Rock Band. Oh my gosh, this was a long time ago though. Um, how far down the line is Lego? It's not on here. I'm just gonna do it now because I'm thinking about it. Lego Rock Band was a B tier for me. I think in between Van Halen and 2. The whole concept is very cool to me. I think it's like a very fun. Like the whole concept is also kind of funny. Like I can't imagine a bunch of people sitting in a boardroom and someone just slams their fist down the table and goes, Lego Rock Band. Like the whole idea to me is just so funny. But I played. I remember now. I played it at my brother's house. Very entertaining game. It's just I prefer Guitar Hero over Rock Band, which is like the gameplay because this was the only one I've played out of Rock Band. So maybe it's a bad judgment, but for me it's B tier, just because I like Guitar Hero more. But it definitely surpasses like some entries like the ones down here. It's really fun. It's a great concept. It's just because Rock Band is not my favorite and I prefer Guitar Hero, it's a little lower. And it's almost too ridiculous. Like Lego Rock Band, it's very cool though. It's very I don't know. It's just I think it's a funny game. I think it's fun. B tier. Okay, we're coming down to the last two, Warriors of Rock and Guitar Hero Live. These were the last two that were made besides Rock Band 4, I think, and I think Rock Band VR, but I didn't even know that existed, so whatever. So, Warriors of Rock. Remember how I said there was one game, maybe one, that could surpass 3? That's what Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock is. It's it's barely above Metallica for me. I think actually no, I'm gonna put it below Metallica, but just because I've had more fond memories with Metallica than with Warriors of Rock. Warriors of Rock is the last great thing that I've seen from this franchise, which isn't saying much because there haven't been a ton of games after that, but I think it's an absolute love letter to Guitar Hero. It felt like they were going back to square one like they did with Guitar Hero 3 and just making a game that if you liked Guitar Hero, you would love this game. That's what it felt like. It felt like a love letter not to Metallica, not to Aerosmith, not to Van Halen, but to Guitar Hero in general. This was the defining game of the franchise besides 3 and World Tour. Those three make up the trio of just fantastic, phenomenal rhythm games, and I think Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock is just an incredible game. The only reason I have it below Metallica is because I prefer Metallica more. Again, where you place Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock is personal preference. I think almost everyone can unanimously agree it's just a phenomenal game and that it's excellent. I think the lowest I've ever seen someone place it was B tier, like top of B tier, which says a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Warriors of Rock in low S tier just because of my personal preference. And like I said, I love 3 and I love Metallica a little more. But Warriors of Rock almost revamped the whole thing. They went all out. Like they had power-ups. They had an actual story mode, not a campaign mode, but a story mode. It was a bit goofy, there was boss battles, but like for God's sake, they had Rush's 2112 in here. That is like probably the best part of any Guitar Hero game ever. I loved that thing. That whole section was just great. I thought it was awesome. It was very fun, very very cool. Um, Warriors of Rock is just phenomenal. It's also, if I correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it's what Clone Hero runs on. I think it's the same type of engine, but Warriors of Rock kind of derives its engine from, once again, World Tour, Van Halen, and 5. I think mostly 5 and Van Halen, but it's very smooth to play, very fun. On the Wii, I've had some issues with calibration before when I played on the Wii. Maybe that's an issue with the console. Maybe it's the disc I got. I don't know. But sometimes I feel like I'm just missing notes for no reason. Like it's just weird. But have played it on emulators and console before too. So besides Wii, I mean, like Xbox, and it was fine. So I think it's a Wii problem. But yeah, just S tier all around. Just phenomenal game. I think it's the third best ones for me. 3 Metallica, and then Warriors of Rock. And I think many people are going to agree with where I've put those. People might not agree with the Metallica one. They'd probably put it in like A or maybe top B. But yeah, I think Warriors of Rock is just a phenomenal game. Super fun, very smooth to play. Gameplay's awesome. Tap notes are much better. Oh, and the set list. How can I not touch on the set list, dude? You got more Dragon Force. You know, like it's just oh my gosh, I love the set list too. The set list is for me. I think I'd actually for set list I'd do Metallica, then 3, then Warriors. That's what I do for set list. The set list is phenomenal. It's got a ton of like more heavy metal, death metal type of songs. Like, Megadeth. Oh my gosh. They wrote their own song for the final boss battle in this game. How epic is that? That is so cool. It was also a very difficult song. This definitely caters to the experts more, and I'm going to make something clear. I'm not an expert, which is another reason I have it below 3 Metallica. Although you could argue Metallica is probably the hardest in the franchise, but I play on medium, that's why. Yeah, don't go in the comments and call me a freaking don't call me like a chump or a noob. I'm not that great at Guitar Hero. I have been playing hard recently on Clone Hero. I'm getting better. I can actually touch the orange button. You know, um, I FC'd Eruption on medium, which is still good. I don't think I'm ever do that on hard, but yeah, setlist is great. You got the likes of like Avenged Sevenfold, like so many great bands and songs. Just also, you got Bohemian Rhapsody in there. Like, if that doesn't say anything about this game, I don't know what does. If I recall, you also got Soundgarden. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, setlist on this is just phenomenal. But you know what's not phenomenal? Guitar Hero Live. So, like I said in the intro, Guitar Hero Live was Activision's final attempt at making a good Guitar Hero game, and boy, did they fail. This is, I think, if it weren't for all those, wait, I've played it. Why? Oh, I guess I can't move it back down. I'll just leave it here for now. I think this is the game that truly killed off the franchise because there has not been a Guitar Hero game in almost 10 years. 9 years since a Guitar Hero game. I don't think there's going to be one anytime soon. There was supposed to be a, what was it? Guitar Hero 7 got canceled because of this game. I a lot of people like to call it underrated and say it was misunderstood. No. Actually, no. Wait. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Guitar Hero Live is not good at all. I think it's slightly better than Band Hero, which is why I have it in E tier instead of F. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Wait. Hmm. No, I'm gonna put it E tier because to give it some credit, TV mode was great, but then they killed it off like in 2018. So that I truly believe that Guitar Hero Live killed off any remaining chances this series had. Activision, they saw that these games they were releasing too many. They were like, okay, we should slow down. People aren't enjoying our games. So in between 2010 and 2015, they drafted up a stupid live-action Guitar Hero game. Thought it would do well. Completely revamped the controller to give players something new, and that was a huge mistake. I think they would have been better off somehow if they just made another game like Smash Hits. Like I think that would have done better than what Guitar Hero Live did. Guitar Hero Live is another one that comes down to personal preference. If you enjoy playing with 6 frets and giving your fingers cramps, then good for you. But for me, I don't enjoy it, so that's going in the gutter for me. E tier, but not exactly F, because when TV mode was around, it was still decent and better than Band Hero, that's for sure. But yeah, I think this was the death of Guitar Hero. It was the last game they've ever made. Besides, like I think one of the like they Rock Band VR and Rock Band 4, but that's not exactly Guitar Hero. But yeah, not a good game at all. I hated the guitar peripheral. It was trash. The setlist was a bit wonky. Like they had freaking Eminem on there. I don't know. The whole thing. I don't like the concert mode. The TV mode was the only saving grace. Then it got canceled. Whole thing was just not good. But they did have a few good songs. Like they brought that Coach Ice, which is my favorite song from Guitar Hero One. You know, but Eminem was weird, including like freaking Skrillex. Like who puts Skrillex in a Guitar Hero game? I have no clue. But the whole game was just unorthodox and not good at all. Anyways, I hate to end off the video like this, but that's every single Guitar Hero video or every single Guitar Hero game ranked on a tier list. If you disagree with this, let me know in the comments what your ranking would be. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the ranking. Leave a like and comment and subscribe.